Alrighty, here we are, live again. Welcome everybody to the CNC with Dave Gatton show, where we talk about all kinds of stuff, mostly hobby CNC stuff. And that would be hobby CNC, not hobby CNC. Although sometimes we talk about hobby CNC.
That's a beautiful thing.
But Hobby's here with me tonight, going to help me keep an eye on the chat. And got a few pictures. I'll say right here at the top of the show, if anybody has got some project pictures that they'd like me to show off tonight and they forgot to send them, you still got time. Send them to, let me get my little, you can send them to this email address right here. And if you get them to me quick enough, we'll show them a little later in the show, I guess. I've got a few to show, not a whole lot. And in the meantime, we can kind of talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about. I got thinking about something earlier today. Maybe we can have a little discussion on that. I always say we this show is mainly about hobby CNC, but then there's a lot of folks that they may still consider themselves hobbyists, but they're running a little, at least part-time business, So I wonder, where do you change the name? Where do you say, what's the factors involved with saying, okay, I'm no longer a hobbyist, I'm a little business of some kind. What would you say, Hobby?
Well, as soon as you start making money off it, that's when. Okay, that's getting annoying. I thought I shut that off. I apologize for the beeping, folks.
I can barely hear it, so it's not bothering.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I would say that.
I know what the IRS says.
Yeah, by definition, you're a professional when something you do, you charge money for it and you get paid. It's that's the simple definition. So if you're a hobbyist, to me, I would say is somebody who's, whether they're getting paid or not, they're only doing it. They're not doing it for a steady income. They're just for a friend or this or that, or they'll do it on occasion. There probably should be a number involved, say $3,000 a year. If you make more than that,
yeah. Well, I know, what the IRS always says, it's a hobby, until your expenses are less than what you make. So, but I just wondered what a lot of people consider, if they still consider themselves hobbyists, or if they're a little business.
Yeah, JJ says he's a hobbyist that gets paid on occasion.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, I think too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the IRS would consider yourself a business. You don't necessarily have to get paid in money. If you get paid in some other goods or services, right? Isn't that considered the same thing as far as the IRS is concerned?
Yeah, as far as the IRS is concerned, it is. But
that's kind of hard to put value on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's hard to put a value on, and the problem is that that's where the issue lies, is in the value of the monetary value of what you're making. Because ultimately you got to put a value on it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, before we get too far into this, I want to give a few shout outs here. We'll go down through the list here. We got Dave Clemens, Troy Pritchard, Dave Krause, Bart Bixel, Steve Misher, Steve Gronsky, Steve from Harnell Media is here, Glenn Helwig, Ron Goudot, Wayne Hurl, Jerry Bonifield, there's Jesse Landis, and hopefully Matt's watching too. If you are, hello, Matt. Kevin Harder, Mike Haichu, Dave Matthews, Richard Kowalski, my buddy Jim Senecola, Paul Stewart, D. Herman 67, so I'm not sure who that is. Tim DeLine, Gary Hammett, a bunch of folks here tonight. Randy Hall, Ed Newman, Michael McCray, Kevin Els, Greg Euler. Holy cow. Benji, I think that's Benji Long. There's John Olther. Mario Medina, hello, sir. Chad Garcia says, finally, after being part of this group and seeing all the helpful interactions, I ordered a Gatton kit today. I know that, and that's
Congratulations, Chad.
That's your order a little earlier today, and it will. I've got one sitting here with your name on it, Chad.
Yep, so looking forward to your hobby box order.
Let's see, Marcelo.
Let's see.
Hitch Hamilton's in the house. How you doing, Hitch? Daniel Lang. New to this CNC build stuff. Well, you're in the right place, Daniel. So, and we got a late arrival here. Good morning, Mr. Meadows.
Good evening.
Hey, Mr. Meadows. How's it going, bro?
Good to have you aboard here, sir. Let's see. Rob Schuster's out there. He's in Austin, Texas, visiting his daughter. Good. Glad you're tuning in. Larry Duggar, Gary Davis, Andrew Haig, Wild Bill Larson, if I can hit his thing here. Ronnie S. from Canada, Keith Stanford. Man, there's just so many here. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but welcome all. Good to have you all here. Like I said, I've got a few project pictures to show. Not a whole lot, but Russ is trying to get his dog to hush, I think.
Yeah, the yappy dog.
Yeah, the yappy dog. Of course, I can't talk because they're not yappy dogs, but they're
slurpy dogs.
Too.
Yeah.
Russ, since I can see Teresa behind you there, tell her I said hello.
Dave said since he sees you back behind me, he's telling you hello. Hobby's waving.
I didn't want to ignore anybody, so.
I'm down here.
Well, I'd like to ignore that slapping dog back there, but he's I don't know. He's trying it again.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. All right, so if anybody has any kind of questions, let's see. I saw somebody. Who was it I just saw? Somebody said they were.
Well, Gary Hammett said when you sell more than you give away. I don't know if you caught that one before.
Oh, yeah, talking about the thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think probably a lot of people, that's why I always say this show's kind of about Hobby CNC, because it's more just for making stuff for yourself, your family, stuff you give away to friends or something. You might sell a few things here and there, but you're probably not coming close to making any money because
my definition, was that a squeaky toy or was that an actual dog barking?
That's a dog with a hot dog in his mouth.
One of them okay, so it was a squeaky toy. Okay, so my definition's a bit more. I mean, I run a few businesses, and what I was always taught was a business is a business when you're making money. You don't necessarily have to be pulling a profit, but you set up a system that you don't have to be in. So in other words, if you can replace yourself with somebody else and still pull money from it, that's my definition of a business. So like selling hobby boxes, controllers, not a business. This is a service, and it's happy, but it's not like I can now. If I were to invest the time and money and train people and raise the prices and all this, but then it would be pointless. But I could create a business out of it but that's a whole other story. Most of us in the woodworking community, it's very hard pressed to find a woodworker that has an actual business unless he's making cabinetry. Because it's hobby money. It's extra spending money.
Yeah. I just wanted to give a shout out here to Wendy. She says, I've been watching with my husband.
Ah, nice.
Greg, for a couple of years, but I finally decided to log in myself. Excellent. I'm always happy to see, and we get a few of them here. I'm always happy to see people of the female persuasion join in and on the CNC discussion, because it's not just a guy's game. We can anybody can do this.
People of the female persuasion, i.e., women.
Yeah. All right. Now, Chad wants to know. He says, "What's the hobby box?" He's talking about a hobby. I should have turned our names on because. Let me go.
Here, hang on a second. Yeah, let me.
There we go. It says Hobby's Wood Shop, and he makes a hobby, what he calls a hobby box. It's a plug and play CNC controller. If electronics is not your thing, he's your guy.
There's on the chat, although it's I don't know why it's not linked, but on the chat is there you go. It's go to www.hobby.com/FAQ, the frequently answered questions, and on hobby.com you can go to the store. Up on top there's a link to well, it says store. It's just for my convenience, so I could have a place to do the payments. But basically it is, let me yank one of these things out here. I don't want to take up Dave's show with my promotion, but I might as well. All right.
We're used to shameless plugs around here.
Yeah. This is a hobby box. It's basically
hold on here, let me get you. Right. There you go.
All right. So this is a hobby box. It's got connections for all four motors, for four inputs, four outputs, spindle controller. It comes with a bunch of stuff, and there's other bunch of cables. You can buy it with or without motors, and if you buy the all-out one that has it, it'll come with the limit switches, the e-stop, the probe. Everything is plug and play. You literally, all you do is attach the motors to your Gatton build, plug them in, you're up and running. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, he says he was on your website today.
There you go. So yeah.
And although Hobby says Gatton build, they'll work with any CNC. It's not a Gatton thing.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got two maybe, or three out of 30 or 40 clients that have other than Gattons. But they had an old controller go bad on them, and they needed a new one, and it fits the bill.
Yeah, I see we got Patrick's Workshop in the house. Clyde Labonte's here. I guess he's got a new name now. It's called Plastics instead of Patrick's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Plastics Workshop.
I'm glad you said it because I've been thinking it for a while, Mark. But
you're not by yourself.
Yeah. Harry Ragland's here as well. So, all right. Well, I don't see any questions over there. If anybody's got any questions about pretty much anything. We'll at least try to answer them. I don't know a whole lot. Know a little bit, but not much. But we'll try to answer some of them if anybody's got them.
Yep.
And then I've got some pictures queued up over here too. I can show, although that won't take long because we don't have. Let me try to find an email too, and just let me know if you see any questions over there, guys.
Yep, I'll be looking.
I'm looking.
Not yet.
Email because somebody sent me an email. Here it is. Okay, Wendy says
Daniel Long had a question.
Daniel Long had a question, so let me scroll back up. Here we go. Building a wood router, having a lot of noise when running the machine. Is some of this due to cheap stepper motors and electronics, TB6560 motors, drivers?
Well, what are you building? Is it a very small? If you're building a Gatton, I would never use TB6560s or 6600s. They guaranteed to burn out within a couple of years. But if you're building a smaller or a small Gatton or a different unit, it's all in the design of the unit. It's basically the resonance from the way you're building it. So all I could say is beef it up a bit. That's part of it. Part of it.
Well, if Daniel is brand new to this, you really don't know what noise to expect.
Yep.
When you do it, so it may seem like it's a lot of noise when it's really, to me, a lot of times when I hear that noise, it's just money to me. So that's the sound of money. So I have quite a affection for that sound.
Yeah,
but,
I hear you.
But some guys, not so much, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that could be a lot of things. And I'm trying to think if that name rings a bell. I used to do pretty good at remembering some folks' names, but there's just too many of y'all now. I can't remember names. So when somebody says I'm building a CNC, I can't know if it's, a Gatton, a Garage Works, or maybe something altogether different. There's just too many of y'all for me now. Wild Bill Larison's got a question. And we get this quite a bit. It says, if one was interested in getting into CNC, what would a ballpark estimate be regarding startup costs? Well, I won't speak for other CNC manufacturers because really one of the main things you have to consider when you're thinking about getting into CNC is your budget. Space is also a consideration. How much space you have, how big a one you can
have
build.
Let me see if I can pull up your video of.
But
it talks all about that, and he can have a good idea.
As far as building a Gatton CNC, which is what a lot of people that tune in here have done. Depending on how fancy you want to get, you're probably going to have around $1,250, maybe $1,500. And again, it can be a lot more than that, depending on how fancy you want to get. Because a lot of people like to add all these bells and whistles and build fancy cabinets to set their machine on and all that. But just the basic machine to get running, you're probably going to have around $1,250 to $1,500.
Yeah.
Some people have less than that,
Yeah.
But that's talking about the Gatton CNC. That's really the only one I can speak about. Because There are lots of other ones out there. If you don't want to build one yourself, and by the way, that's why the Gatton CNC is so popular, is because, as I always say, if you put in your own sweat equity, you don't mind doing some of the work yourself, like building it and
Yep.
building the table and all this kind of stuff. That's where you save the money.
Exactly.
But if you get a turnkey thing, it can be a lot more money.
Yep.
But some people don't want to fool with building it. They just want one they can plug in and go. So,
Oh,
and I get
question
that
out
too.
there. Yeah, a question out there from Chris.
Yeah, this Chris.
At Chris.
Why do most people use a tapered ball nose for 3D contour rather than a straight?
Ooh, that's a Russ question.
Oh, that's right in his wheelhouse, isn't it?
Well,
we got Mr. 3D carving right here on the set tonight.
Oh, don't put me under the gun, by God. I'll go back in the back of the class.
Well, you want to take that one, Russ, and tell him why you use tapered ball nose?
I use it because everybody else does, by God.
That's a good
the ball nose, the tapered ball nose has a little different tip on it than the regular ones do. It's not the same, and it allows you to get down in there for the detail. Is why everybody else uses them. And a regular ball nose, you can't get that detail good like that. I can't. Since I've started, I've been using the tapered ball noses, and with the tip, like I said, the tip is different, and it allows you to get down deep into the cracks and crevices and stuff, and it makes a smoother cut.
Yeah, and of course, the finer you get, the more detail you're gonna get. Of course, it's also going to add tons of cycle time.
It adds just about twice as much for a 1/16 going down to a 1/32.
Yeah, I've got a 1/32, and it just looks almost like a point.
It pretty much does, but believe me when I tell you, you get the detail with that little baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Todd says there's less deflection with a tapered.
It's stronger.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, because of the angle of it, you're basically.
It's much stronger than the regular like that as well.
Yeah, I want to back up here because I remember Jim's got a question here, but I want to catch another one that I saw earlier, and I don't remember who asked it. I'm going to have to try to.
What was the question about?
It was somebody asking me if I'm making a aluminum Gatton CNC or something like that. A question about aluminum.
Oh, that one again? Yeah.
But I don't remember where it was. Yeah, I may have scrolled too far back now. Whoever that was that asked that, if you want to ask it again, copy and paste it and put it back in there. I'll try to get to it. And in the meantime, I'll run down here and get Jim's. But yeah, I don't know where that question went. All right, let me see if I can catch Jim's now. If I can find it. I should have got it while I had it because, okay, here it is. It says, "Hey Dave, with the new Z box, will the new Z box have a way to add a laser to it?" I'm not really. It's still sitting right back here, by the way. It's basically I'm just making a new Z axis. It's the whole. It will replace the existing Z box that's on the GarageWorks. That's what I'm working on right now. Again, I may, if there's enough folks that want me to do one for a Gatton, I may do that too. But I mean, I'm not looking at ways to add a laser to the side or something like that, because this is mainly a Z axis. So it's going to be the part that goes up and down and all that. So I actually plan on using, when I get this done, I'll be, probably shooting some videos using the DeWalt 611 or whatever I have on it. But when I get ready to just use that machine for what I want to use it for, I'll be putting my laser on it. Because that's not really the only reason I'm building that smaller machine.
I found that question from Timothy Line.
Okay.
If you want it, it's at 705. It says, Dave, did you cut the whole Gatton CNC kit out of aluminum? Is this something you're thinking of selling? If I would like to see one complete.
Okay. Yeah, I knew I saw that somewhere. Okay. Thank you for finding that, Russ.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. No, I'm not. I do not have any plans to cut a Gatton CNC kit out of aluminum. There's really no need to.
he might be mistaking your Avid for an aluminum Gatton.
No, I don't think you.
No, Tim would know. Yeah.
I don't think you could confuse those two, but no, there's really no reason to. The Gatton, the whole part, the whole thing about the Gatton is it's designed to be an entry level hobby CNC machine that's designed in a way that people can either build it exactly to the plans and use a half sheet of plywood as the whole table, or they can make it a little wider, a little smaller, deeper, a little narrower, a little short. It's like selling a kit, but a whole bunch of different size kits, because since the end user provides the cross members, they can make them as long or as short as they want to.
Yep.
And that's without a doubt why one of the reasons that the Gatton CNC has been so popular. Harry Ragland's got an interesting analogy here. He says, making money with a hobby CNC is like feeding your family with the fish you catch from your bass boat.
Yeah. This is true.
That's a pretty good way to do it, I guess. Let's see if there are any other questions. Okay, Landis spotted that question too. That was Tim's question, I think. Yeah, see, some people say 7:05 and 8:05. If you're on Eastern time, it was at 8:05.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on Russ Meadows time, it's 7:05.
Right on, buddy.
But yeah, that would be pricey. And to be fair, I don't know if it would be any better for the home hobbyist. There's no reason to try to make a Gatton out of aluminum.
No.
Because then it's not what I want it to be.
Yeah, it's like making a hobby box with NEMA 34s and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, and I've taken some well, I guess you could call it criticism or whatever, where people would say, well, I don't know why you didn't do this. This would have made it better, blah, blah, blah. The whole point was to make a machine that's really affordable for the entry-level hobbyist to get into. If somebody else wants to design their whole machine, design their own, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to design something that will work with lots of people, not just a small group that has more money than others. So
yeah. There's a question for Hobby.
Yep.
Get her done, boy.
What's the
microstep settings on the Hobby box? Hobby.
I don't know. That was 32 boxes ago. They're all identical. Pins 6 and 8 are down, and all the others are up. How's that? I mean, it's all second nature to me. I just crank them all out, and I did all that research a few months ago, and to determine what was best, and that's I'm not going to say that's a lousy question to ask. It's a very good question to ask, but you can't ask that by itself. What power supply are you using? What board are you using?
Right.
What I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. Is everything matched inside your thing? Is your power supply matched to your drivers? Is your drivers matched to your motors? Is your
A lot of variables.
lot of variables. That's if the question is directed at, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing. There's no way anyone can do exactly the same thing as a hobby box for one reason. My boards are custom programmed. Sorry. So other than that, you could do everything very similar. And there's plenty of instruction out there on YouTube. It's just I knew what I was getting into, and I wanted to do this in bulk, so I had to make them like that. But short of that, if you're asking what mine are, I think they're 3,200.
All right, moving on.
I don't know.
I've had this question up here for 5 minutes.
Sorry. No. Yeah, I have no idea.
Ernest asked, does anyone with a Gatton use compression bits? And if so, how deep do you start cutting?
Haha.
It would depend on the compression
Depends
bit.
on the compression bit. And yes, I do.
As Todd here says, you have to at least start past the upcut portion of the bit. And that's true with any of them. And it doesn't matter whether you're on a Gatton or a, X carve or digital wood carver or whatever. The bits, they're all the same. You got to put it in deep enough to get past that part. So, all righty. All right. Did I miss any others? Okay, let's see. Ronnie says, have I tried thread milling? No, I have not. And probably won't. I'm not trying to be a machinist. I'm just cutting aluminum with a CNC. Yeah. All righty. So let's, I don't see any more questions right now.
Yeah, you got one down there about your projects.
Okay. Yeah. Let me throw that up here again. You can send it to that email address right there. And I will add them to my little pile here. And I'm fixing to show some right now. Dave Gatton at AT&T.net. Okay, I want to show some these photos here before we get any farther. And if anybody's got any other questions, just throw them in the chat there, and we'll get to them here in a little bit. I got this email. Let's see. Oh, I guess I got it. I was thinking I had it longer than that, but I got it a few days ago. This is from Lloyd Miner. Lloyd, I don't know if you're out there in the chat or not, but his email says, I might put my glasses on to read this. It says, this is from, let me go ahead and show the photo so y'all can be looking at it. He says, from Vectrix Project of the Month, I just love these little cutie boxes. They will make great Christmas gifts for a couple of my 10 grandchildren. This is my first successful attempt at making boxes. I have tried making their heart-shaped box for Valentine's Day, and I could not get them lined up right. It was a two-sided project. I just need more practice, I'm sure. I've only been doing CNC since November of 2019.
Well, there you go.
So I wanted to be sure and show these because Lloyd,
That's really nice, Lloyd.
That's a
somebody
nice job.
doing this like 6 months or whatever.
That's fantastic. Absolutely
It's
fantastic.
fantastic work. Yeah. And you're only going to get better. The more
Absolutely.
you do, the better
And
you get.
if you want a couple tips on heart-shaped boxes, although I'll suggest to Mark Lindsay that he does a show on it, but I actually have a show where I did heart-shaped boxes on my. You got to look back through my channel on the Learn CNC with Hobby part. Go to hobby.com and there's a link, and one of those is making heart-shaped boxes and all different shapes, snowmans, Christmassy stuff.
Okay. I want
Might give you some helpful information.
I've got some other pictures that I wanted to show here. Okay.
Those boxes look fantastic.
Yeah,
they're really nice.
all of those. They look great. Okay, this is from my old buddy.
They look great. Mine.
Grant Davis. And you might not be able to tell it, but that's his Garage Works in the background there, or I guess that this is setting on.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find his email.
Yeah.
See if he tells me anything about these.
Yeah, that came out real nice.
Okay, he says some of the work from this week for you to show on Saturday if you'd like. Graduation gift for his nephew. So that would be that one right there, I guess. Let me find the little arrow.
Oh,
That another excavator.
I do have a project I can share. Okay.
All right, this one is.
Casper.
Get these right. A late Mother's Day. Since I haven't seen my mom in person since March, giving it to her on Friday. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And I wonder how that picture is attached. I wonder if that's magnets and he's got something.
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it might be magnets. He's not here tonight to
He's got them all lined up nice and neat and symmetrical, straight in the line.
yeah. Okay, so let me go, and then he's got another picture here with 3 projects. And here he says these are 3 dresser valet trays. And yeah, I guess they're pretty self-explanatory here. Carry on. Well, looky there. He's got my initials on one of them. I need my daily dose of iron, and it's got a golf thing. That's pretty cool. I like that. And then this one back here, I'm trying to see if I guess that just says Ryan. All righty. I like that. Oh, this one, I'm trying to see. This one says Rotary Connects the World, and that looks like almost like a little drone or something.
I couldn't make that out what it was when I saw that picture the first time.
Yeah, and I'm still not sure, but I'm not sure.
Rotary connects the that's a Rotarian symbol.
Okay. Well, what is this over here? Is that?
That's the one I'm talking about. I couldn't make
Oh,
that
the
out.
one on the left?
Yeah. Because that looks.
I hang on. Let me enlarge my screen. I can't see it big enough. Looks like. Why does it look like a paddle with a bunch of bowling pins? Wow, am I out of it?
I thought it looked like a quadcopter or something. I'm not sure what it is.
X.
I have no idea.
I don't think Grant is watching. Hey, there's Lloyd. Lloyd is here this morning or tonight. Hi, Lloyd. You made it. Let's see. All right. So And then I think I've got just one more picture. And I will show this one. And I sent this guy a link too, but he has not appeared. So I don't think he's back home yet. He said he might have to pop in later. But this is made by my buddy, my favorite solar man,
Mr. Ryan.
Got a flag here. And I don't know if he, let me look and see if he sent me anything in the email to. Okay, here we go. Yeah, he's got a little explanation. He says, here are some pictures of my latest flag made from cedar. The Union has the unit I was assigned to while stationed at Fort Bragg. I used a 30-degree bit and then painted the crest. The stripes are roughed up with an angle grinder, then burnt, sanded, stained, assembled, and burnt again, he says. And he's also got another picture. If I'm going the right way. Yeah, here we go. Of a kind of a close-up of the Union there.
Pretty good job.
Yeah, that looks good. I like it. I like these flag things. I got to build one of these sometime. You know, just a regular old flag with the stars and all. I never have made one, but I always like the way those guys do them.
Yeah, it's on my list too.
All righty, so that is all the pictures I have. Oh, wait a minute, there might be one more here. Yeah, I got one here. Oh, yeah. All right, let me see if I can get these saved over there. And I'll get them queued up here. And if anybody else has got some,
now's the time, folks. Now's the time. Send them on.
Oh, these are some good ones here. Not that the others weren't, but I'm saying these are pretty good here. All right, let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, you ready for this? This is from okay, he says, hi, Dave. If I'm not wrong, English is not my native language. You called for pictures of our work, so please find some pics of my latest project. And this is from, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right, but this is from, I'm just going to say Mr. Herman. I think he was Herman 67 or
right.
whatever it was. Yeah, here he is. Okay, the Herman 67. So this is his pictures.
Now look at there.
Yeah, check that out.
That's pretty slick.
That is pretty slick indeed. He doesn't really have anything, but since you're out there, feel free to add anything to these pictures that I'm putting on here. Like,
that's not a CNC project though, unless it's a 5-axis CNC.
I want to eat everything in this house.
Well, I don't know. It could have been double-sided because it looks like that back piece is a different piece.
Yep.
But I don't know.
That very well could be. No, yeah. I'm thinking the back side of the wolf and the underneath parts, there's no way you can get that detailed unless you had and a rotary wouldn't cut it.
Mark says you can cut that as a double-sided project.
No, because of because there's holes that even both sides will not hit. That's what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it looks like you got teeth up in here.
Yeah. That's
so
That's a carving. That's a carving. That's a
You said
or
no 5-axis.
no 5-axis. Okay, is that a carving?
And it's no 2 sides project. Okay. Well, maybe that's not a CNC thing then. I don't know.
It's a,
All right. Well, let's.
It's a double.
Oh, it is. It is a double side project. Okay, he said it is a double side project.
Okay. Okay.
What size bit did he use, or how big is that thing?
Well, I can't tell.
No, I was asking.
Let's see if he chimes in here. Let's go on and we'll move on to some other things.
Yep.
And look at the rest of them.
It's a beautiful wolf, by the way.
Yes, it is.
This is a nice little birdhouse here.
The whimsical birdhouse. It's pretty neat. A 1 millimeter ball router bit. 1 millimeter ball nose.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah,
It's
no wonder.
small.
Yep. That's gonna take a while.
Yeah. Well, here's pictures of them in action.
Yeah.
Look how small
There's
that thing is.
what we talk about when
Look
we
at that.
when we
Yeah.
say a tiny little ball nose. That's
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's sweet.
it. All right. And let's see what else. I think there was. Okay, I guess this
Yeah, turned out to be
part
that.
of this. But there's the finish.
Yeah, it's pretty neat too.
Okay, I like that. That turned out very nice.
It's in a dish.
Yeah.
Okay, I found mine. Whenever you're ready,
Okay. All right.
I'll share it.
And then we've got. I'm not sure exactly what you would call this, but I like that. I like that. Okay, I think that was. Yeah, because then we're back to Grant.
Yep. All right. I'm sharing here. If you want to, I'll show you the. All right. So this was a little makeshift prom. That's my daughter. A little makeshift prom that we did, and
I'm not seeing it.
I am not seeing it.
What's that? Hang on a second. Boop, 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 boop.
Did you share the right screen?
Yeah, let me try again. Hang on. Share application window. Okay. Try again. Okay, and there we go. Okay. So, hang on. Let me open it this way. Give me a second. All right. You see the picture?
Yep.
Okay. So it's obviously it's not the couple that I'm looking, but rather the sign back there. I saw it up on one of the. I love this guy's face. I saw it up on one of the Gatton sites. Somebody did this. Proud member of the class of 2020. We made history. Our year was cut short, but our dreams were not. And so I decided to remake it. And so it was a huge hit on the at my daughter's by invitation only 9 couples prom.
Mm-hmm.
Following all social distancing. Yeah, right.
Of course.
Oh, by the way, D. Herman said he's only been doing this for 4 months.
I saw that right here. That's
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That's dedication.
That's fantastic. Great work. Great work.
Yep.
And John here says, looks like Russ has some competition
Ah,
with the 3D stuff.
Oh, I better get busy.
Yeah.
telling you.
All right. Let me check my email one more time to see if there's
Any last minute
late,
entries?
late emails. I think that's it. And I'll go ahead and whoop. I got 2 more. Let's see who we got here. All right, let me get these queued up here, guys.
Mhm.
Here's that one. And there's that one. And I can't even tell what these are. They're so small here, but I'll find out when I open them up over here. Let's see. Nope, not that way.
Big D said that Robert Sams had a question. I'm looking for it.
I saw it a while ago.
What's the cutting area of the 4x4?
Yeah.
That would be subtract 14 inches from the X.
From
the Y, and subtract 6 inches from the X. How's that?
What exactly? What are they asking?
That's exactly what they ask. What is the cutting area of the 4x4?
Which 4x4?
Ah,
True. Are we talking about a Garage Works, a Gatton, or something totally different?
Yeah.
And the only reason I ask that is because a lot of times, every time I assume they're talking about one thing, they're talking
about something else. Yeah.
And I always get in trouble. So, all right, let me cue up these other pictures here. Where'd that one go? Let me see what this is. Oh, okay. This is from, he says,
oh yeah.
He says, hi, can you give me a shout out YouTube? I will, but I don't know your name. Name on here. Let's see. Here's the, and I already stopped sharing. Dadgummit. All right, let me do it here. Okay, here's this. This is from R Mana. I'm not sure who that is. So if you're out there, okay, it's Mako Shark. And I still don't know who that is. Stupid YouTube names. I hate
Yeah. Don't talk to Dave unless don't ask for Dave favors unless you're going to give him your name.
Yeah,
He doesn't do that.
Like people want to be anonymous and all that stuff, but I'm like, you know what? We're all grown ups here, first and last names.
Yeah, sorry.
So I can't give you a shout out because I don't know who you are. But there's your shoe repair sign.
Torcaso shoe.
That was done. Looks like on a mill there. So, all right, and then we also got one from Benji Long. Let me see if I go the right direction here to get it. Nope. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is.
Yeah.
This is an eagle.
Nice.
Carved into some live edge. Something there. I like that. What is that? Cedar looks like?
That looks
like it might be. I don't know. Let's see.
Possibly.
This is a rough cut bookend for my buddy's cabin, he says. I like that.
I like that too.
I like that.
That's some good work.
Well done.
Yeah, a lot of good projects this week. Could tell people have a lot of time on their hands at home. I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. Okay, so I think that's now it for the pictures. I'll hit it once again. And here's my favorite solar man popping in here.
Hey, Rye.
He's trying to pop in here.
Yeah.
There he is.
Hi, Rye.
Hey.
We showed your pictures a while ago. Do you have anything you'd like to add to them? If so, I'll show them again.
Hey, how's everything going?
Give him a second. He's catching up.
Just got to get back. There you go.
You have anything you want to add about this? I read off the stuff you told me in the email. Hello.
Looks like it's frozen.
he is frozen.
Oh, is he froze up? Okay. All right. Let me get the. All right. Let's see.
Man.
There's another question here somewhere. Where did I see it? Mid-State Rustics ask, is there really a big learning curve with CNC software?
No.
No.
Okay. Here's
Can
the short answer. It depends on your familiarity with drawing programs. That's what I would characterize. If you do not know, if you've never done any drawing with programs, and I'm talking just simple lines and squares and things like that, then there's a little bit more of a learning curve, but it's still pretty simple. And again, I'll plug Mark Lindsay. Mark's show. He strips it down to bare bones for you. It's very, very simple, particularly with Vectric. But if you've had experience with any drawing program, particularly vector programs like Illustrator or CorelDRAW or anything, it's going to be second nature. There is practically no learning curve in that case.
Yeah, and I would also add, when he says CNC software, I think of the other software as well, the Mach 3, the UC, CNC, that kind of stuff. So, but it's like anything. There's a learning curve. Whether it's big or not really depends on the individual, because your background may make it easy, or it might be a little tougher. But I will say this: regardless of whether you feel the learning curve is huge or small, it's well worth it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be all these folks that are watching this tonight.
Yep.
You know, the hobby of CNC is fun. It's rewarding, I think.
Oh yeah. The first time.
It's frustrating as hell sometimes.
Yeah, but the first time you draw something up and run that machine, and it doesn't run into the table, and the first time it runs properly, you are just gonna go. There's a couple videos of some customers of mine who I've recently seen, and they've put out their first video, and they are like ecstatic. They're watching their creation come to life, and I remember that feeling when I first got it.
So do I.
God knows how many years ago.
Chris wants to know: does anybody ever make it through a full Spindle TV episode? I
have not yet.
They are long.
They are long. They're longer than Mark Lindsay.
Why they're long is because he's doing all that stuff.
Longer than Mark.
Yeah.
And he's answering questions. I always tell people, if you're gonna, I encourage you to go watch Laney and put on a pot of coffee, maybe make a sandwich or two, some popcorn, whatever. And if Laney's watching, I hope he knows I'm just kidding. But you can't help but learn something. You watch something that 2 or 3 hours, you can't help but learn something, even if it's by accident. But
you got that right.
And scroll back, both with Mark and with Laney. Scroll back through some of the shows, because sometimes they're in a period where they're doing a little bit more advanced stuff, but they have done some really, really basic beginner stuff, simplified that anybody. My wife was looking at one the other day, and she goes, "Oh, that looks pretty easy." She's not into woodworking at all, so that says something.
Yeah, Mid-State Rustic says, I do all freehand routing now, but I'm looking at getting a CNC to help with getting things done quicker than I can right now. In some cases, it may help you get things done quicker, but more importantly, if you're making a certain thing and you make a bunch of them, the CNC will give you that repeatability. Well, they'll all look exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I think I just got a couple more emails too.
Yeah, they'll all look identical.
All right. All right, we got to hurry up real quick and get these.
Sorry, I was having some troubles earlier. Doing.
Captain?
Let me save these real quick and we'll get them in. And then anybody else I get after these two, we'll have to wait until next week.
Captain?
Yep.
We're already at the hour.
Some guy, please.
Oh, I guess I could have just showed that one like that. Okay. Now let me get this queued up again. Okay, this is from, can't read the thing here. Okay, I'm guessing this one is from Tim DeLine because I see DeLine in there. So I guess this is who this is from. Tim, if you're out there, I'm giving you credit for this one, so I hope it's yours.
Yeah.
It is a, what did he say it was?
Looks like,
Oh yeah, I've seen
looks like
that.
another rotary sign. Yeah.
It's International Association of Machinists.
Machinists. Oh, there you go.
Aerospace.
And aerospace workers.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty nice. I like that.
Look for the union label.
It's very sweet.
I love gears.
Yeah, it's just something about gears.
I'm a big fan of gears. You put a gear on something, I like it.
Yeah, can't go wrong with gears.
I don't care what it is.
Okay, and now let me get this other one because I got to find it. It's not popping these in order here. Let me click around here.
It looks like a blizzard out there today.
Okay, this is, let me see who this is from now. This is from, oh, I think this is also from Tim DeLine. Okay. Let me get it a little bigger here.
Livius. Lewis.
You got Pete, Christy, Jesse,
Austin, and
and
Lexi.
the dog, Lexi.
Is that the Lydius family or the Livius family?
I think it's the Livius family.
I think it's Livius. Yeah, L-I-V looks like. Okay. All righty. I like that.
Yeah.
Corey Williams has a question. If you get to it, I think that might be from Hobby.
Okay. Let's
That's some good work on the sign.
yeah. I am completely torn on what controller I want to use for my Gatton. Can you all recommend a controller, whether online or offline?
Huh? I'm a little
I
confused.
guess we won't be getting a recommendation about Raspberry Pi then because
Yeah, because Ryan's gone.
and he's back.
What do you mean by whether online or offline? That's the part I'm confused about. Wow.
Well, maybe he's talking about how, you know, how some of them, like with the X-Carb, you got to have a internet connection.
Connected to the computer or not connected. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I guess that's what he's talking about.
Well, Dave and I were talking about that either earlier or yesterday, and we don't understand how. Let me not. I don't know if you guys can hear the pouring rain. It's getting pretty serious here. and I'm in a container, so I'll try not to shout because I hear the rain. Dave and I were talking about that, and I mean, we were both saying that it personally to us, it makes no sense to have a non-computerized controller. You know, an all-in-one. I mean,
Web-based.
what's that?
Web-based.
No, not so much web-based, but basically a controller without a computer, one that you just pop the G code and press it in. Because sometimes you do want to make adjustments, adaptations, things like that. That's more for industrial use when you're doing a lot of repetition and stuff like that. But that being said, personally, I like to use something that's compatible with Mach 3, with Vectric, and the only reason I say that, it's not because any one controller is better than another controller. They all do the same thing. They all move a router or spindle in 3 different axes. So, but it's the support, it's the compatibility, it's the community. You basically have a huge support community for if you've got an issue, which you rarely will, because once you set up Mach 3, you're done. But if you have an issue with you're learning, you want to know how to do something fancy on Vectric, I mean, you've got, well, we've mentioned it a dozen times. Mark and Laney, you got Russ with the 3D stuff, and Dave and I as well for resources, and Ryan. Every one of us use one or more design pieces of software, and some of them a little more like Ryan. He uses you're with the Raspberry Pi stuff, so there's always that route to go. There's a smaller community, but there's a community of Raspberry Pi followers. Personally, I like to go with the largest community, and that's funny coming from an Apple guy. But I do own more PCs than I do Apple, so I stand by.
You're part of that cult.
I stand by my statement. What's a better computer?
Nah, we ain't going there.
We won't go there.
All right.
Well, the issue with doing the stuff online, like Easel with Inventables, is you can run everything through the online setup. Is that if your internet fails for some reason, then your carve is done. You can't save that. So by having some kind of software like I use BCNC to run my G code, I can run it whenever I want. It can be. It doesn't. I'm not. My internet's here is crap. As if somebody couldn't figure that out already.
we had a suspicion there.
No.
Never.
This is on my phone, man. This is bad today. But so it does make sense to have some kind of a computer-based setup to be able to run your G code.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, so as far as if you're asking as far as which hardware controller to use, I'd stay away from the parallel stuff. That's most people use them only because most of the community started when parallel thing started, but it's ancient technology now. USB is a better way to go, but one will work just as well as the other. I've got a few concerns, but that's a whole other show.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I guess we need to wrap this one up. I don't think I missed any questions, and I don't think there's any more emails. But if anybody sends me an email and I get it after the fact, then your projects will be on next week's show. And I wanted to mention
the next show and tell show.
I wanted to mention that a while ago. I've been trying to remember to mention it every single show now. Is sometimes we do a show and tell show where it's all about projects, and we have 15 people send in pictures and stuff. But you don't have to wait for me to say, hey, I'm going to do a show and tell show. If you got something you want to show off, you're proud of it, send it to me and we'll show it off. I love seeing projects that other people make, especially if they made them with one of my machines. Really, any machine is good, but and I'll show it, but
and I'll add something, Dave, as you mentioned all the time. If someone has numerous projects that they want to show up and show off, and they want to come on the show, Dave is usually always looking for somebody to,
because if you got a whole bunch of stuff you want to talk about, we might as well have you on the show instead of having you do the chat thing and saying, well, this was made out of maple, and we just have you on the show.
Stories are fantastic. I love hearing the stories behind the project.
But I personally like to see the projects, like I said, especially the ones that were made on a Gatton. And the reason I do is because if you've looked, probably most of you guys are not only members of the Gatton CNC group or maybe the Garage Work CNC Facebook group, but you probably also in some of these others. And in a lot of the other ones, I'm not in any of the other ones just because I'm not. I'll just leave it at that. But there's always people that go, oh, that's just a silly plywood machine. You can't, So I always love getting these projects where you see this fantastic detail and quality that's as good as any others out there. And it's made on a little old plywood machine. So, and maybe not even a Gatton. Some of them, we're talking the shoestring budget machine. There's a lot of those out there that make just fantastic projects. And so, don't let anybody tell you, if you're new here, this is your first time here or fairly new here watching this show, don't let anybody tell you to start off, you have to buy something, several $1,000s to be able to do stuff. You'll quickly outgrow that. You got to start off here. Now you're better off, I think, to get something and build it yourself. You learn a whole lot more about how they work.
Yeah.
When you do it yourself. And I have a whole lot more respect for the people that either get one of my kits or maybe the old shoestring budget ones or whatever, and they built it themselves, and now they're kicking out these fantastic looking projects. I always have more respect for those folks than I do for the guy who, goes and spends, a bunch of money for a whatever, and all they do is plug it in and turn it on and go, and then when something happens to it, they've got to call tech support because they don't know anything about their machine.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get out of here. We've had a good crowd here tonight. I appreciate y'all hanging around. And as always, like I said, if you got pictures of projects or maybe a machine build, if you're building a Gatton and you want to, you haven't got to where you're doing projects yet, but you want to show off your machine, send me pictures of that. We'll show that off too. Anyway, I guess we're going to get out of here. Thank you, Hobby, for helping me tonight. Russ, always good to have you here. Solar Man, always good to see your smiling face here, buddy.
Hey, that's about it.
But all right, guys, we are going to get out of here. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe, and especially in these crazy times. And we will see y'all next week, I guess. So take care, everybody.
Y'all later.